I still remember the exact sound the key made when it hit the new deadbolt. It was a sharp, metallic clink, a tiny sound, really. But in the quiet of the late afternoon, it sounded like a gunshot. I was standing on the front porch of my grandmother's house, the house I had lived in for the last 8 years, the house where I had held my grandmother's hand as she took her very last breath just 3 weeks prior. I was bone-deep tired. I had just finished a grueling 10-hour shift at the clinic. My feet were aching in my worn-out sneakers, and all I wanted to do was go inside, make a cup of tea, and sit in the quiet. But the key didn't turn. I jiggled it, pushed it harder, pulled it out, wiped it on my jeans, and tried again. Nothing. The lock was stiff, unyielding. And then, the front door opened from the inside. It wasn't my grandmother, of course. She was gone. It was my Aunt Patricia. She was standing in the doorway, wearing my grandmother's favorite silk robe, the deep emerald green one she only wore on special occasions. She had a glass of wine in her hand, and she was looking at me with this smug, pitying little smile. "Clara, honey," she said, her voice dripping with that fake, sugary sweetness she always used when she was about to deliver a blow. "What are you doing? You're letting the cold air in." I just stared at her. My brain was trying to process the visual information. The new brass deadbolt, the silk robe, the wine. "Aunt Patricia," I said, my voice sounding incredibly thin even to my own ears. "Why is there a new lock on the door? Where is my key?" She took a slow sip of her wine, not breaking eye contact. "Oh, sweetie, we changed the locks yesterday. I had the locksmith come by first thing in the morning. It's just safer, you know, with the neighborhood being what it is." I blinked. "We? Who is we?" She let out a soft, patronizing little laugh. "Well, me, obviously. I live here now, Clara. This is my house. And frankly, it's time for you to find somewhere else. You've been a wonderful help these past few years, but your grandmother is gone. It's time for you to move on with your life. Find somewhere else." The words just hung there in the crisp autumn air. I looked past her into the hallway. I could see my coat rack, my shoes, my grandmother's favorite vase, which I had carefully dusted just that morning before I left for work. You threw my things out," I asked, my voice finally finding a little bit of its normal volume. "I packed them up," she corrected smoothly, waving a manicured hand. "They're in boxes in the garage. You can come get them this weekend, but you can't stay here anymore, Clara. This is a family home and I need to prepare it for the estate sale, or maybe I'll keep it. I haven't decided yet, but you need to go." I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't throw a tantrum. You know that feeling when the world just stops? When the ground literally drops out from beneath your feet and you're just floating in this cold, numb void. That's what it felt like. I just looked at her. I looked at the woman who hadn't visited our grandmother in 3 years. The woman who hadn't paid for a single prescription, a single doctor's visit, or a single hour of home care. The woman who only showed up when there was money to be spent or property to be claimed. "Okay," I said quietly. She looked surprised. She had expected a fight. She had expected me to break down, to beg, to plead my case. When I didn't, her smile faltered for just a fraction of a second. "Okay," I repeated, stepping back off the porch. "I'll get my boxes this weekend." I turned around and walked down the driveway. I got into my car, closed the door, and sat there in the silence. And then, I finally let myself breathe. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely put the key in the ignition. But beneath the shock, beneath the grief and the exhaustion, something else was waking up. Something cold, something hard. Because Aunt Patricia had made one massive, fatal mistake. She thought she knew everything about that house. She thought she knew everything about my grandmother. But she didn't. She had been too busy looking at the property value to notice the actual life that was lived inside those walls. She didn't know about the hidden will. But before I tell you how I took that house back from her, I need you to understand something. You need to understand who my grandmother was to me. Because if you don't understand that, you won't understand why I was willing to burn every bridge I had to protect her legacy. My grandmother's name was Alina, but to me, she was just Nana. I was raised in that house. My parents, Well, my parents were a mess. My dad left when I was 4, and my mom worked 3 jobs just to keep the lights on. She loved me, I know she did, but she was always tired. She was always stressed. So Nana stepped in. Nana was the one who taught me how to bake. She was the one who sat up with me when I had the flu. She was the one who paid for my college tuition when my mom's car broke down and she couldn't afford the semester fees. When Nana was diagnosed with early-stage dementia 7 years ago, I didn't even think about it. I just packed my bags and moved into the guest room. I was 28. I had a boyfriend, a decent job, a life of my own. But none of that mattered. Nana needed me. For 7 years, I was her primary caregiver. I bathed her. I dressed her. I sat with her during the terrifying moments when she didn't know who I was. I managed her medications, her finances, her doctors. I held her hair back when she was sick, and I held her hand when she was scared. And where was Aunt Patricia during all of this? Patricia was Nana's older sister. She lived 2 towns over. She was loud, she was flashy, and she was always broke. She had this habit of showing up when things were good, when Nana was lucid, when the house was clean, when there was a holiday to celebrate. She'd bring a cheap bottle of wine, take a selfie for Facebook, and leave. But when the hard times came, when the incontinence started, when the sundowning made Nana scream in the middle of the night, Patricia was suddenly too busy. She had migraines. She had prior commitments. I didn't resent her for it at first. I just accepted it as a fact of life. Patricia was selfish. That's just who she was. But when Nana passed away, something shifted in Patricia. The grief didn't seem to touch her. Instead, a kind of greedy, frantic energy took over. She started showing up at the house unannounced. She started asking questions about the bank accounts. She started looking at the furniture like she was mentally pricing it at a yard sale. And then she found the will. Or at least she thought she did. A week after the funeral, Patricia called me. She was breathless, excited. "Clara." I was looking through Mom's desk and I found her will. It's right here, dated 5 years ago. It says everything goes to me as the eldest sibling and you get a small cash stipend. Isn't that wonderful? It's all so clear. I remembered feeling a cold knot form in my stomach because I knew Nana's lawyer. I knew Nana had updated her will 2 years ago after Patricia had tried to borrow $20,000 for a business venture that turned out to be a timeshare scam. But I didn't say that. I just said, "That's great, Aunt Patricia. I'm glad you found it." Because I knew something she didn't. Nana was a smart woman. She knew Patricia was a vulture. And Nana knew that if Patricia found the real will, she would contest it. She would drag my name through the mud, hire expensive lawyers, and tie up the estate for years. Nana wanted peace for me. She wanted me to be safe. So Nana had hidden the real will. And she had only told one person where it was. When I got home from the clinic that day, after Patricia locked me out, I didn't go to a hotel. I didn't call my mom. I drove straight to the office of Arthur Pendleton, Nana's lawyer for the last 30 years. Arthur was a sweet, elderly man who smelled like peppermint and old paper. He looked up at me over his half-moon glasses when I walked into his office, still in my scrubs, still shaking from the adrenaline. "Clara, my dear," he said gently, "I heard about the locks. I'm so sorry." "She thinks she has the will, Arthur," I said, my voice cracking. "She's changing the locks. She's throwing me out. She thinks she's won." Arthur sighed and took off his glasses. "Patricia has a draft, Clara, an old draft. It's not legally binding, but it's enough for her to make your life miserable. She's going to try to claim adverse possession, or at least tie this up in probate court until you run out of money and give up." "I'm not giving up," I said, and I meant it. "Where is it, Arthur? Where did she put it?" Arthur smiled, a small, proud smile. "Your grandmother was a brilliant woman, Clara. She didn't trust the bank safe deposit boxes. She didn't trust the filing cabinet. She told me, 'Arthur, if Patricia ever looks for the will, she'll look in the places a greedy person looks. She'll look in the desk. She'll look in the safe. She'll look in the lawyer's office.'" He reached under his desk and pulled out a small, worn, wooden recipe box. My breath caught in my throat. The recipe box. Nana's recipe box. It sat on the kitchen counter every single day of my life. It was filled with index cards, stained with vanilla extract and melted butter. Apple pie, chocolate chip cookies, beef stew. Patricia had looked right at it 100 times. But to Patricia, it was just junk. It was just old paper. She never cooked. She never baked. She only ever ordered takeout or went to restaurants. She didn't know the value of those cards. "She hid it in plain sight," Arthur said softly. "She told me to keep it here in my personal safe until you needed it. She said, 'Clara will know. Clara will come for the recipes.'" I reached out and touched the wooden lid. My fingers traced the faded handwriting on the tab, family favorites. "She left the house to you, Clara," Arthur said. "She left the investments to you. She left Patricia exactly $10,000 with a very specific clause that if Patricia contests the will, she gets nothing, not a single penny." I looked at Arthur. The shaking in my hands had stopped. The cold, hard feeling in my chest was gone, replaced by a warm, glowing sense of absolute certainty. "Okay," I said. "What do we do next?" "We wait," Arthur said. "Let her dig her own grave." For the next 2 weeks, I stayed at my mom's apartment. I slept on the couch. I went to work. I came home. I didn't call Patricia. I didn't text her. I didn't try to get my boxes from the garage. I let her think she had won. And Patricia, being Patricia, couldn't just keep the house to herself. She had to gloat. She had to show it off. She had to prove to everyone that she was the successful one, the one who inherited the big house, the one who didn't need anyone. She announced a housewarming and estate celebration. She invited half the extended family, all her flashy friends, and even a local real estate agent she was thinking of hiring to appraise the place for a quick sale. I knew about the party because she posted it on Facebook. "So blessed to be starting this new chapter in Mom's beautiful home. Come celebrate with me." I didn't comment. I just took a screenshot. The day of the party was a crisp Saturday afternoon. I didn't go to my mom's. I didn't go to work. I put on my best clothes, a dark navy blazer, a crisp white blouse, and my grandmother's pearl earrings. I looked in the mirror. I looked like Nana. I looked like a woman who knew exactly who she was. I drove to the house. The driveway was full of cars. I could hear the muffled sound of music and laughter coming from inside. I parked my car at the end of the driveway, took a deep breath, and walked up the path. I didn't knock. I just opened the front door. The hallway was crowded. People were holding drinks, laughing, admiring the new chandelier Patricia had bought. When I walked in, the noise level dropped. People turned to look at me. Patricia was standing in the center of the living room, holding court. She was wearing a stunning designer dress, looking every inch the wealthy matriarch. When she saw me, her face flushed with anger. "Clara," she hissed, walking over to me. "What are you doing here? I told you to get your boxes this weekend. You're not invited to this. You're trespassing." "Actually, Aunt Patricia," a calm, authoritative voice said from the doorway behind me. "She's not trespassing." The crowd parted. Arthur Pendleton walked in. He was carrying a thick, leather-bound folder. Behind him was a uniformed police officer who had been waiting in the car. Patricia's face went pale. "Who is this? Clara, what is the meaning of this?" "This is Arthur Pendleton, Nana's attorney," I said, my voice steady, carrying clearly across the silent room. "And this is Officer Davis. We're here to serve you some papers." "Papers?" Patricia laughed, a high, nervous sound. "I have the will. I have the legal right to be here. This is my house." "You have a draft, Patricia," Arthur said, stepping forward. His voice was gentle, but it cut through the room like a knife. "A draft that was superseded by a legally binding, notarized will executed 2 years ago. The one you found is invalid." He handed the folder to the police officer, who then handed it to Patricia. Her hands were shaking so badly she could barely open it. She flipped through the pages. I watched her eyes scan the text. I watched the color drain from her face, leaving her looking gray and sickly. "No," she whispered. "No, this is a fake she." She didn't know what she was doing. She had dementia. She was declared legally competent by 3 separate doctors before signing this. Arthur said smoothly. And as you'll see on page 4, there is a specific clause regarding the primary beneficiary. Patricia flipped to page 4. She read it. I stepped closer. I wanted her to know I was there. I wanted her to see my face when she realized she had lost. What does it say, Aunt Patricia? I asked softly. She looked up at me. Her eyes were wide, filled with a mixture of terror and absolute, unadulterated rage. It says, she choked out, it says the house, the accounts, the estate, it all goes to you. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Her friends, her family, they were all staring at her. The wealthy, successful matriarch, standing in a house that wasn't hers, wearing a dress she probably couldn't afford, holding a piece of paper that proved she was nothing. And Arthur continued, his voice ringing clear in the quiet room. It states that if any beneficiary contests this will or attempts to unlawfully occupy the property, their secondary bequest is immediately revoked. Patricia dropped the folder. It hit the hardwood floor with a loud smack. $10,000, I said quietly. That's what she left you. But since you changed the locks, threw me out, and tried to claim the house, you get nothing, not a dime. You planned this, Patricia stammered, pointing a trembling finger at me. You manipulated her, you isolated her. I took care of her, I said. My voice didn't shake. I felt entirely, completely calm. I was there when she was scared. I was there when she was in pain. I was there when she died. You weren't. And now you need to leave. I looked at the police officer. Officer, she's refusing to vacate the premises. The officer stepped forward. Ma'am, I need you to come with me. We can discuss this down at the station, but you need to leave this property right now. Patricia looked around the room. She looked at her friends, who were suddenly very interested in their drinks. She looked at her family, who were avoiding her eyes. She looked at the real estate agent, who was quietly slipping out the back door. She had nowhere to go, no money, no house, no allies. She started to cry, ugly, gasping sobs that ruined her makeup and wrinkled her expensive dress. She grabbed her purse and pushed past the officer, running out the front door, down the driveway, and into her car. We watched her peel out of the driveway, speeding away into the afternoon. The house was quiet again. I looked at Arthur. I looked at the officer. I looked at the few family members who had stayed, who were looking at me with a mixture of awe and pity. Thank you, Arthur, I said. He smiled and patted my hand. Your grandmother would be very proud, Clara. After they left, I walked through the house. I went into the kitchen. I opened the drawers. I looked at the counters. It was a mess. Patricia had moved things around, tried to make it her own. But I knew how to fix it. I spent the next 3 days cleaning. I packed up Patricia's things and put them on the curb. I polished the wood floors. I washed the windows. I put the recipe box back on the counter, right where it belonged. And on the 4th day, I baked an apple pie. The smell of cinnamon and baking apples filled the house. It smelled like childhood. It smelled like safety. It smelled like Nana. I sat at the kitchen table, a slice of pie in front of me, and I just cried. I cried for the 7 years of exhaustion. I cried for the grief I hadn't been allowed to fully process because I was too busy surviving. I cried for the little girl who just wanted her family to love her equally. But as I sat there, I felt a warmth in the room, a gentle, comforting presence. I knew she was there. I knew she was smiling. I didn't just get the house that day. I got my life back. I got my peace back. People ask me sometimes if I feel guilty. If I feel bad that Patricia ended up living in a tiny apartment across town, working at a retail store to pay her bills. I don't. Because guilt is for people who do something wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. I just finally stopped letting someone else's greed dictate my life. I finally realized that saying no isn't an act of betrayal. It's an act of self-respect. Sometimes, the people who scream the loudest about family loyalty are the ones who have never actually shown any. Sometimes, the people who demand the most are the ones who have given the least. And sometimes, the greatest gift you can give yourself is the permission to walk away from the people who make you feel small. I still live in Nana's house. The The garden is blooming, the porch is painted, and every Sunday I bake a pie and I leave a slice on the counter just for her. Because love isn't about what you can take from someone. It's about what you're willing to give, even when no one is watching. And Nana gave me everything, so I made sure she got to rest in peace. Soft, emotional music begins to fade in. You know, I've been thinking a lot about the women who raised us. The grandmothers, the mothers, the aunts who stepped in when no one else would. I used to sit at your feet, watching your hands work, thinking you could fix anything. Every scraped knee, every broken heart, you made it better with a song and a warm meal. You were softer than the morning light, yet you built me a fortress of stone. And when the winter winds were coming, you would stand between them and me. Time kept moving like a river. You slipped slowly from my arms. But no matter where life takes me, you are always a part of my heart. I am your legacy, and every step I take and every time I choose to stand, when it's easier to break, I carry your memory in my heart, your fire inside my soul. And though the years keep moving on, your love still leads me home. You taught me strength is not in yielding, but in standing when it's hard. You taught me how to keep on going when the road grows cold and dark. Every lesson, every story, every laugh around the flame lies within me like an echo calling softly through my name. And when I face my greatest battles, when I feel I can't go on, I can hear your voice beside me saying, "Child, you're stronger than you know." I am your legacy. Every step I take, every time I choose to stand when it's easier to break, I carry your courage in my heart, your fire inside my soul. Although the years keep moving on, your love still leads me home. One day the snow will cover footprints. One day the fire will burn low. But the things a grandmother gives her child are the things that never go. Not the house, nor the money, not the battles that she won, but the quiet way she loved you and the woman you become. I am her legacy, and I always will remain. Through every triumph, every loss, through every joy. And every pain. The world may change around me, the stars may fade above, but I will always carry with me a grandmother's endless love. And when they ask me who I am, I'll smile and answer softly, I am her legacy. I am her legacy.